So what do you do if all of a sudden you get an alert, maybe Credit Karma, some other credit monitoring site, that there's a collection account and it's something that you paid off 8 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago? What do you do? Well, first of all, you want to make sure that's actually the account that you remember paying off. So maybe it's a debt collector that says, hey, this is a Capital One account. You say, I've only had one Capital One credit card my entire life, and I paid that off and closed it 10 years ago. Well, now you know that this account is that one that you paid off. And of course, you look at the balance. You know, if your credit card was $400 that you paid off and this lists $14,000, well, maybe it's not the same. But if it says $400 also, you're like, okay, this is pretty much the same thing. And so what you may want to do is then call the collector. Just pick up the phone, give the collector a call, say, hey, what's this doing on my credit report? What is this account? They go, oh, well, this is a Capital One account. How would you like to pay? You go, wait. I want some details of this. And I want to know what the account is, the amount, the dates. Give me this type of information. A lot of times they won't. They'll say, well, we'll have to go investigate that for you. Just say, okay, well, I dispute this account. Just make sure that that's clear in your records. I dispute this account because I paid this thing off 10 years ago. And then what you probably want to do, I'll give you a couple options. You'll probably want to dispute that with the credit bureaus. Okay, so I'll come back to that. But let me tell you 3 options. You could do nothing and say, well, let me just wait, because maybe that debt collector will pick up the phone. They'll call Capital One. Capital One will say, oh, yeah, this is way too old. It's paid off. Get this off his credit report. Okay. Second option is you could just sue the debt collector because they're reporting something that is inaccurate. When you called them, they said, by the way, hey, this is an attempt to collect a debt and you owe this $400. Well, if you truthfully don't owe the $400, then that's a lie. And they put it on your credit report when it's way beyond the time period. If you remember, we did a video about the 3 time periods that they can collect. One time period is the time period to sue, that's statute of limitation. The second one is the time period to credit report. Basically, from when you default, it's 7 years, okay? Or you could think of 7.5 years from when you first missed a payment that you never recovered from. And then the third type of time period is just the ability to write you, call you, and that, with exceptions, is unlimited. So if they're reporting after the time period, then that violates the law. Now, the option that I suggest is, for most people, go ahead and dispute it with the credit bureau. Say, hey, look, I paid off this account. It's so long ago, I don't have the records. I'm just telling you, I paid it off. And it's way too old. Okay, this should never be on my credit report. If it's verified, in other words, it stays on your report, and sometimes they'll update it, but they'll keep it on your report and just show a 0 balance. That still is wrong because this thing is way too old to be on your credit report. If that happens, then I would sue. And you sue the credit bureaus under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and you sue the furnisher, the debt collector, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the FDCPA, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Now, what if they delete it? Well, that's great. Now, you still may want to sue. You can't sue under the Fair Credit Reporting Act for a lousy investigation because they did it properly. Now, we can certainly talk about, can we sue for putting obsolete information on there, okay? But you can definitely sue the debt collector for doing false credit reporting. Now, if they can prove that, they truly believe this was accurate and they had no indication. But let me tell you this, on debts this old, they don't have that, okay? Capital One did not sell this to the debt collector, a month ago and say, oh, by the way, this is a current debt and it just got charged off 6 months ago. If they did, then maybe we need to take action against Capital One for lying on that. So the point is, you could do nothing, you could go ahead and sue, or you could do a dispute through the credit bureaus. And my suggestion is, if you do a dispute through the credit bureaus, also copy the debt collector, okay, so that they get a copy of that directly from you. And I hope that that's helpful. If you're in this situation, you do a dispute, I'd be very interested to see what the results you get back. Is it predominantly everybody's deleting it, or are people verifying it, or are they updating it but keeping it on your credit report? I'd be very curious about that. So You can always leave us a comment here. You can email me, John@wattsherring. That's WATTSHERRING.com. Or probably the easiest way is just through our main website at alabamaconsumer.com. You'll see a contact us button, and you can fill out that form and get with us. So I appreciate you watching this, and feel free to subscribe or watch other videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.